What's up, my friends? Welcome back to another video. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Pastor, and welcome to my channel. This is not one of the normal kind of videos that I upload. I usually do things with pop culture, video games, movies, that kind of deal. 2020 has obviously been one of the hardest years, at least for me, in my lifetime, in my generation, and it's definitely going to be in the history books and all that other stuff. We all know the bad stuff that happened, from murder hornets to all the celebrities that passed away. It seemed, at least to me, like this year had the most celebrity deaths than any other year I can remember. And of course the coronavirus. Obviously the coronavirus is the king of the bad. This video is not going to be about focusing on the bad stuff. Not to discredit any of you who lost loved ones or family members to the coronavirus, or even in general. You know, my heart definitely goes out to you. I don't want to focus on that. I mainly want to talk about the good stuff that happened to me in 2020, because believe it or not, even if you really search in your own lives, those of you who obviously survived 2020 and are still with us, there has to have been something that you can pull away from 2020 that was a positive. I could be wrong, but I have faith in the fact that if you really search deep enough, you can find it. And that's what this video is going to be about. Reason why I wanted to make this video, a couple reasons. Matt from Matt Lane Fitness, you guys know him. We make a lot of videos together. He taught me something very, very important. I learned it in 2020. So start off with that, and that is perspective. Perspective, it's a huge thing that most of us overlook. Now, obviously, I've stated 2020 has been a very difficult year for most of us in the world. As long as you live on Earth, it's been a rough year. Various, degrees. For some of us, it's been worse than others. I am well aware of that. I basically wanted to give thanks and make a video of me giving thanks, and feel free in the comments below to overload them with what you're thankful for. We just had Thanksgiving, so we're still in that festive time, at least for me, and we should be thankful every day. But I would love to hear what you're thankful for. I would love to read all the comments. I'm going to read each and every single comment in this video, what it brought to you as far as a positive experience or a positive event. So for me, a couple things. First off, like I said, Matt being my trainer and teaching me a lot about being happy with myself, just knowing that no matter how bad things are, if you survive and you're able to walk away from it, it could have been worse. Yes, we've always heard that, but there's also something that you learn from it, because if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger and or smarter. That's just a fact, really, if you think about it. The whole thing with perspective, I just wanted to highlight a couple things that happened to me in 2020 that were good. For those of you that know me, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, even though I'm not wearing any Star Wars merch right now. I have like my Vegeta t-shirt, but I usually have a Star Wars shirt on. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I was finally able to get into the 501st. I know a lot of you that follow the channel and that are subscribers know that I'm in the 501st Legion. I basically am a TIE fighter pilot. That's my only costume as of now. I'm working on another one slowly. I met a lot of great people joining the organization officially. It happened in 2020. I was actually the first new member of the new decade, which I thought was really cool, at least in my squad. I don't know about the whole country. I think that would be really awesome, but I doubt it. Another thing that happened that was really cool, working on this house that I'm actually in right now. This is our quote-unquote dream home. It's actually our first starter home. It seems like a dream. It's been forever since her and I were able to feel comfortable in a home that we didn't feel overstressed or cramped, because we have two kids. Before we had our second child, we were getting really cramped where we were. And the house that we lived in before this was a good house. It was a great house. It was a sound house, and we were very thankful and very, blessed to be able to live there. But it was just too small. And with the new baby on the way, we knew that we had to make another move. So we were working on this house and renovating, painting the walls and doing the ceiling and the floors, and the bathrooms had to be completely renovated and all this. And unfortunately, because of time and contractors and money, we thought that we were going to move in like 6 to 8 months, and it turns out that it wasn't. A year passed, and then a couple more months passed, and then all of a sudden we were, I think, like 12 or 13 months out or something like that. And finally, when it happened, it was in 2020, I forget what month it was, that we finally moved in, and we moved our bed in. And I don't know about you guys, but for us, when you move your bed into a house, you've officially moved in. That's where you're going to sleep. So for us, it didn't feel real until we moved our bed into the house. And now we're slowly working towards it. I built this entertainment center behind me for all of our movies, and it got all of our movies in one spot, something we didn't have enough space to do in any of our previous homes in the 6 years we've been married. mounted the television, did all this cool stuff that, you know, for us it was a dream, and we finally were able to accomplish it. So very, very thankful that we're able to move into our home and entertain friends, especially when coronavirus goes away. Most of us probably don't think about the fact that, yes, we couldn't go to the movies, I couldn't go to conventions, I couldn't do 501st Troops and go to Disney and all this other cool stuff that I wanted to do because of the coronavirus and the pandemic and all that. But look at all the time that we've had. Obviously, I don't want to say that the entire what seems like a year of being quarantined was amazing, because yes, I did go stir crazy. Yes, I did say, you know, I need to get out of my house and all this. But a lot of that time that we were all forced to just stay home, those of us that were allowed to still work from home and still earn a living, we had enough time to do stuff. Like, I had enough time to build this entertainment center and fix the house and work on all these other projects and make all these videos and all this stuff, because I just had so much more time on my hands. I was able to spend time with my kids. That brings me to the next thing I'm thankful for. I have had a YouTube channel, I think, since 2015, and it was one of those, what I call the viewer channels. I didn't make any content. I just signed up so that I can be able to comment and save, you know, interact with YouTube. It wasn't as a content creator. I didn't want to dabble in any of that because I was a cameraman. And for those of you that know me, I still to this day am a bit camera shy. Holden Hardman, for those of you that don't know, he and I go way back. It's about a decade in the making. Matt Lane, the year 2020, I grew really close to him, and now he and I are really good friends. Same thing with Jeremy Branch from Movies Are Terrible. We all met one of our subscribers turned, subscribers and fan turned friend, which is Prime at a Nexus, otherwise known as Glenn, and he's basically one of the guys now. So I mean, it was such a blessing for YouTube to just blow up and expand. All of us working together and collaborating and just engaging and bringing value to each other's channel and to the table and just being transparent. You hear us say that on the lives all the time, how we're always transparent and what you see is what you get. So the fact that my channel was able to grow exponentially in such a short amount of time, it was crazy. It's been only like 8-9 months. And, I've had a lot of fun. I've done all this different kind of content. Not as much as I would have loved to do, obviously, because of everything going on in the world. Those of you who are, dedicated followers to the channel have come to most, if not all of my lives, all of my content having to do with movies, having to do with video games, all the stuff I do, you guys watch it and you guys enjoy it. I think 1 month I went from having 2,000 subscribers to having like 3,500 in 1 month. Thank you so much for all the support, and any of you who are watching this that don't know who I am and are not used to my channel, consider subscribing. This isn't the kind of content I make, so definitely feel free to look through the channel, and definitely feel free to reach out, and if you have a suggestion. I play D&D, I'm an avid D&D player. I've gotten requests to do more D&D videos. Also, with the channel growth in that same vein, Patreon. I didn't think, I always said to myself, well, what am I going to possibly give, on Patreon? How are my patrons going to feel invested? And it's been incredible. I have a dedicated group of patrons, so that has really helped my family and I, get by and make ends meet and stuff. And it's just the support, just the fact that you guys like the content that I create and that the rest of my teammates create, so much so that you make us basically a part of your family, and you guys are definitely a part of our family. So even though I haven't been working as much because of the pandemic and all, I still have been able to work part-time. You guys know I work at my local game store, tabletop games, D&D, board games, card games, comic books, that kind of stuff. So my job is not one of the 3 pillars that I call of necessity. If you work in the medical field, if you work in the security field, or if you work in food, your job, regardless of what's happening in the world, is secure, because we cannot live without those 3 things. We all need security, we all need food, and we all need medical care. So my job wasn't like that. So I was definitely afraid that I was going to lose my job, and my wife and I were going to have to figure out something else to do. So I'm so thankful that my local game store was able to stay open, and relatively speaking, we were able to do well and earn enough money to keep the doors open throughout the pandemic. They actually have a YouTube channel. It's my good friend Dave, and I'll link it in the description below. He talks a lot about D&D, card games, and basically letting all of you who don't live in Florida come visit his shop through his videos. So definitely check him out, and consider subscribing if you like what you see there. I'm very thankful of the fact that, you know, I was able to keep my job, and you know, that even them, because they are my friends, not just my boss, that they were able to thrive and keep their business going. So I'm very thankful for that as well. A lot of this comes down to the little things that we tend to ignore or take for granted. I mentioned moving into the house and how we were all cramped. I get my office back to make these videos and to make other content, and my kids get their own bedroom. So I mean, a lot of this stuff is a lot of little things that just make this huge, amazing, you know, blessing. And like I said, I don't want to take anything away from how horrible 2020 was, but I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to make videos and podcasts and articles about how 2020 will always live in infamy because it was the worst year ever. And believe me, I understand. I was fortunate enough to dodge the coronavirus and not get sick or anything like that in my family and my really close friends. Some of them did. They were able to recover relatively quickly. So I'm very thankful for that. And I know that some of us were not that fortunate. I'm not trying to downplay it at all. Don't take this as, look at me, I'm gloating, my life was great. Look at it as, there's always something, you know, there that you can take, that you can say, well, you know what, everything else sucked, but this was great. And I want to say thanks to Matt, because perspective has basically saved my life. It's changed who I am as a person. It's going to lead to great things. So I'm trying to work on myself every day, each and every day. Honestly, you guys should too. Those of you that, you know, are trying to wonder, what can I bring? What can I take from 2020 that you know, was good? Everything was terrible. First and foremost, you're still here. If you're watching this video, you know, I'm not trying to preach. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but I'm just very thankful. Thankful for the community. Thankful for you watching this video. So much stuff that happened in the midst of all the bad. My grandfather-in-law passed away. That was a really rough time. And I'm not going to say I'm not guilty of being one of those people that whenever something terrible happened, I went, well, blame it on 2020. Yeah, I'm guilty of that too. I've said it. I've joked around saying, well, 2020 is just a bomb fire. 2020 is just a trash fire, you know? And I laugh and I chuckle whenever the memes come on of, you know, 2020 is like this, and it's just like a photo of just like a giant mushroom cloud. My point is, all jokes aside, and yes, 2020 sucked. It's probably, besides 9/11, it was the worst year in my lifetime that I literally was like, oh, the world's gonna end. As most of you know that know me, I'm from New York City, and I was there for 9/11, so that was like the worst for me. And then 2020 happened with the virus. So I definitely know it's bad, and when it rains, it pours. But I just want to end this video with saying, it cannot rain all the time.